Welcome back. This video could change your life. Money bag. Today, we're diving into the fascinating world of Lincoln cent values, their iconic design, hidden stories, and secret treasures that most people completely ignore. In this video, we'll reveal the top 3 most valuable, expensive, and ultra-rare Lincoln cents ever discovered in the United States. These pennies include 1982 Lincoln cent, no mint mark. 1989 Lincoln cent, no mint mark. 1997 Lincoln cent, no mint mark. At first glance, these coins look ordinary, just simple copper-colored pennies. Many appear dirty, dark brown, or heavily worn, the kind of coins people spend every day without a second thought. Warning, but here's the shocking truth. Certain rare varieties, errors, and surviving examples of these Lincoln cents have sold for tens of thousands of dollars, and in extreme cases, even millions in today's collector market. Collectors and serious investors are actively searching for coins exactly like these. So before you spend that old penny, stay with us. Because you might be holding a hidden fortune in your hands. First up. Coin number 1. The 1982 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is one of the most mysterious and misunderstood 1-cent coins in American history, quietly hiding in plain sight while carrying the power to shock collectors and investors alike. At first glance, it looks like a simple copper-colored penny, often dark, dirty, or heavily worn from decades of circulation. Most people wouldn't hesitate to spend it. But coins like this are not judged by appearance alone. They are judged by timing, composition, survival, and the rare circumstances that turn an everyday cent into a life-changing discovery. The year 1982 was a turning point for the Lincoln cent. Rising copper prices forced the U.S. Mint to change how pennies were made, creating confusion and variation that no one at the time fully understood. During this year, different metal compositions were produced, some heavier, some lighter, some copper-rich, some copper-plated. The Philadelphia Mint, identified by the absence of a mint mark, produced millions of cents meant strictly for circulation, not for collectors. That decision alone shaped why this coin became so important later. Most 1982 no-mint Lincoln cents were used immediately in daily life. They passed through gas stations, grocery stores, vending machines, and cash registers, collecting scratches, dirt, and discoloration. Over time, their copper surfaces reacted with air and moisture, turning from bright red to brown and even deep chocolate shades. To most people, this looks like damage. To experienced collectors, natural aging often signals originality. A coin that hasn't been cleaned or altered tells a truthful story of survival, and that honesty can dramatically increase its desirability. What makes the 1982 Lincoln cent truly powerful is that not all examples are equal. While millions were produced, only a small number survived without being cleaned, bent, or destroyed. Coins that retain strong details in Lincoln's portrait, clear lettering, and solid surface texture are surprisingly difficult to find today. When one appears with natural color, balanced wear, and original surfaces, it immediately stands out to serious collectors who understand how rare such survivors really are. Collectors are drawn to this coin because it represents a moment of quiet chaos at the mint. Decisions were made quickly, production methods shifted, and no one imagined that future generations would search through pennies trying to understand what happened. That uncertainty is exactly what fuels collector interest. The 1982 no-mint Lincoln cent becomes more than currency, it becomes evidence of a transitional year, frozen in copper and time. Investor interest follows the same path. Many people assume pennies are worthless, which allows rare and important examples to remain unnoticed for years. This lack of attention creates opportunity. When collectors finally recognize how difficult certain 1982 cents are to find in top condition, competition increases sharply. Prices rise not because of hype, but because demand collides with limited supply. This is how an ordinary-looking 1-cent coin can suddenly be worth thousands, or far more. Stories of astonishing values are not fantasies. Exceptional Lincoln cents have changed lives before, and the 1982 no-mint examples continue to surprise the market. Coins with the right characteristics, original surfaces, strong strikes, and historical importance, become centerpieces in collections. Once collectors realize how rare a specific example is, bidding becomes emotional, aggressive, and fast. In those moments, prices can reach levels most people never imagined possible for a penny. This coin also teaches a powerful lesson about patience. Many valuable cents were lost forever because they were cleaned, polished, or spent without a second thought. Cleaning removes history. Rushing to sell removes opportunity. The people who benefit are those who slow down, learn, and respect what time has preserved. The smallest details, the color, the weight, the texture, can be the difference between face value and a fortune. From a historical perspective, the 1982 Lincoln cent represents more than money. It reflects economic pressure, rising metal costs, and the challenges of modern coin production. While the world moved forward, these pennies quietly circulated, unnoticed, surviving decades of use. Today, each surviving example carries that story in its metal, waiting for someone knowledgeable enough to recognize it. So before you spend that dark, dirty, ordinary-looking 1982 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, pause for a moment. What seems like nothing could be everything. Fortune doesn't always shine. Sometimes it hides in copper, worn edges, and quiet history. This 1-cent coin proves that even the smallest denomination can carry the power to change a life overnight, if it falls into the right hands. The 1989 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is one of those coins that quietly lived its entire life being ignored, underestimated, and spent without a second thought, yet today it carries a story that commands serious attention from collectors. This is a true Philadelphia mint penny, identified by the absence of a mint mark, produced in massive numbers and released directly into everyday circulation. It was never meant to be special. That is exactly what makes it powerful now. Coins that were never protected, never saved, and never respected often become the hardest to find in meaningful condition decades later. When these 1989 cents entered circulation, America was moving fast. Cash registers were busy, coins were tools, not collectibles. These pennies passed through countless hands, sliding across counters, dropping into pockets, scraping against keys and other coins. Over time, their copper surfaces darkened, shifting from bright red to deep brown shades. Dirt, oxidation, and wear slowly erased sharp details. Most people see damage. Experienced collectors see survival. A coin that has endured real circulation without artificial cleaning carries authenticity, and authenticity is everything in the collector world. The Lincoln cent design itself plays a major role in this coin's appeal. Abraham Lincoln's portrait has been one of the longest-running designs in U.S. coinage, symbolizing stability, history, and national identity. By 1989, the design was so familiar that people stopped noticing it. That familiarity caused millions of these cents to be overlooked, even as subtle differences in strike quality, surface texture, and preservation quietly separated ordinary examples from truly special ones. What makes the 1989 no-mint Lincoln cent particularly intriguing is not that it was rare at birth, but that it became rare through time. High-quality survivors are surprisingly scarce today. Coins that avoided harsh cleaning, corrosion, bending, or environmental damage are difficult to locate. A naturally aged penny with balanced wear, readable lettering, and honest color can immediately attract attention from advanced collectors who understand how few remain untouched after decades of circulation. Collectors are drawn to this coin because it represents a forgotten era of modern coinage. It sits at the edge between too new to be old and too old to be common in nice condition. That uncomfortable middle age is where opportunity often lives. Coins like the 1989 Lincoln cent were not widely saved in rolls or collections, meaning that time, not mintage numbers, became the true filter of rarity. From an investor's perspective, this coin is a lesson in patience and perception. Most people dismiss 1-cent coins entirely, which allows valuable examples to hide in plain sight. When collectors suddenly realize how difficult it is to find certain coins with original surfaces and strong eye appeal, demand rises quickly. Competition forms not because of hype, but because supply quietly vanished years ago. That is how values grow in unexpected ways. Stories of dramatic value changes often begin with coins just like this. Not because every 1989 penny is valuable, but because the right example, with the right characteristics, at the right moment, can ignite intense collector interest. When multiple collectors recognize the same coin's importance, prices escalate rapidly. In those moments, a coin once worth 1 cent can command astonishing attention and serious money. This coin also teaches an important warning. Cleaning a coin destroys its history. Polishing removes originality. Spending without looking removes opportunity. Many valuable cents were lost forever because people tried to make them look better. In reality, collectors pay for truth, not shine. The natural copper tone, even when dark or uneven, often signals that a coin has not been altered, making it far more desirable than an artificially bright example. Historically, the 1989 Lincoln cent reflects a period when coinage felt disposable, yet time proved otherwise. Economic shifts, production changes, and public indifference created the perfect conditions for unnoticed survivors to become future collectibles. Each remaining example is a small piece of American daily life, preserved accidentally rather than intentionally. So before you spend that ordinary-looking 1989 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, pause. Look closely at its surface, its color, its details. What appears worthless today could be tomorrow's discovery. Fortune doesn't always announce itself loudly. Sometimes it waits quietly in copper, worn edges, and forgotten change, ready to reward the person who chose not to ignore it. The 1997 Lincoln cent with no mint mark is one of those coins that almost everyone has seen, touched, and spent, yet very few people have ever truly looked at. Born at the Philadelphia Mint and released straight into circulation, this penny was never marketed as special, rare, or collectible. It was designed to work, not to impress. And that is exactly why its story today feels so shocking. What once felt disposable has quietly grown into something collectors now study with serious interest. When the 1997 Lincoln cent entered circulation, it became part of everyday American life. It moved through grocery stores, parking meters, school cafeterias, and corner shops. It rubbed against other coins, keys, and metal surfaces, slowly losing its original shine. Over time, its copper surface darkened into shades of brown, red-brown, and sometimes almost black. Most people see a dirty penny. Experienced collectors see a coin that has lived honestly, untouched by artificial cleaning or polishing, preserving its original character. The Lincoln cent design itself plays a powerful role in the coin's identity. Abraham Lincoln's portrait is not just an image, it is a symbol of continuity in American coinage. By 1997, this design was so familiar that people stopped paying attention to it altogether. That lack of attention allowed countless cents to be damaged, cleaned, bent, or discarded, while only a small number survived in respectable condition. Time became the real judge, quietly separating ordinary survivors from extraordinary ones. What makes the 1997 no-mint Lincoln cent fascinating is not immediate rarity, but survival rarity. Millions were produced, yet very few remain with natural surfaces, balanced wear, and strong eye appeal. Coins that avoided harsh environments, chemical exposure, or careless handling now stand out dramatically to collectors. The absence of a mint mark confirms its Philadelphia origin, linking it directly to the heart of U.S. coin production during a period when pennies were still heavily used but rarely saved. Collectors are drawn to this coin because it represents a forgotten chapter of modern coinage. It is not ancient, yet it is no longer new. That middle ground is where surprises often live. Many collectors today are discovering that finding high-quality examples from the late 1990s is far more difficult than expected. The assumption that newer means common has proven dangerously misleading in the coin world. From an investor's perspective, the 1997 Lincoln cent teaches a lesson about patience and vision. The market does not reward what everyone notices, it rewards what everyone ignores. Pennies are dismissed as worthless, which creates the perfect environment for overlooked value. When collectors suddenly realize how limited the supply of untouched examples truly is, demand rises sharply. Prices move not because of hype, but because reality catches up. Stories of pennies achieving unbelievable values often begin quietly, just like this one. It is never every coin, but the right coin. Strong detail in Lincoln's face, clear lettering, original copper color, and natural wear patterns can turn an ordinary cent into a serious collector target. When multiple collectors recognize the same qualities, competition becomes emotional, and values can escalate faster than anyone expects. This coin also carries a warning that many people learn too late. Cleaning a penny removes history. Polishing destroys trust. Altering a coin erases the very qualities collectors seek. The dark, uneven copper tone that many people dislike is often the strongest proof that a coin has remained untouched. In the collector world, honesty always beats shine. Historically, the 1997 Lincoln cent reflects a time when physical money was beginning to lose attention as digital payments slowly grew. Coins were still everywhere, yet fewer people cared about preserving them. That indifference created silent scarcity. Each surviving example today carries decades of everyday American life pressed into its copper surface, waiting for someone who understands its story. So before you spend that 1997 Lincoln cent with no mint mark, pause for a moment. Look beyond the dirt and wear. What appears ordinary may be extraordinary. Fortune does not always come wrapped in gold or silver. Sometimes it hides quietly in a 1-cent coin, waiting patiently for the person wise enough to recognize its power before it disappears forever.